Hey, so before you get started reading, I wanted to help you a little bit get into the narrative structure of the Bhagavad Gita, because it's kind of funny the way it starts out and the way the story is told. As you probably know by now, the Gita is a short section in the middle of this huge, grand epic from Indian history called the Mahabharata. And that story is the story of the war between two clans that were fighting each other over the control of northern India, basically. Those two clans are the Kauravas and the Pandavas. Sometimes the Kauravas are called the Kurus, as they are in the reading we have. And the Bhagavad Gita takes place right before the great big battle begins between these two sides. And on one side, you have the five brothers, the Pandava brothers, one of whom is Arjuna, who is the prince of one of the five princes, and he's going to be the main character in the Bhagavad Gita, along with his charioteer, who is Krishna. Now, Arjuna doesn't know yet that Krishna is actually the god of the big great universe, but he's going to figure that out, especially in chapter 11. And right now, though, at the very beginning of the story, you just have the two armies lining up on either side of this great big battlefield. They call it the Field of the Kurus. It's called Kurukshetra. And the story is set up like this. You have the Kauravas or the Kurus lined up on one side with all their horses and armies, and then you have on the other side the Pandavas and the brothers lined up with all their armies and horses, and they're gearing up, and there's a no man's land in the middle of them. And into this no man's land, Krishna drives Arjuna, who is a great warrior and an archer, one of the five Pandava brothers, to see the opposing side. And if you know the story of the Mahabharata, what he's going to see is his relatives that he grew up with, but they've been separated since then because of politics, basically. And but now they're about to fight each other, and he's going to go take a look at the opposing army. And the story is narrated in a funny way. The king of the Kauravas, or the Kurus, is named Dhritarashtra, and he's blind king. And he is going to be viewing the battle, even though he's blind, from the perspective of his attendant named Samjaya. And Samjaya has a magic eye, and he can see directly into the middle of the battle and the middle of this field where Arjuna and Krishna come to look at the armies. And he can also hear what they're saying. So the story, the narrative of the Bhagavad Gita is narrated by Samjaya to the blind king Dhritarashtra, who wants to know what's going on. And once you know that narrative structure, it helps as you read the Bhagavad Gita. So now that you know that, you'll be able to understand the setup in chapter 1, and then we get into some of the issues that arise as we go into chapter 2. All right, time to dig in.